Hi, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a blitz game that I played. This is what I call a Stacia miniature. This is when we look at a blitz game and we see what we could learn about it, especially like a key opening or a key moment. Also, I'll be honest with you guys, since I've been struggling to get to 1700 again, um, it's been a little disheartening. So, looking at a game where you destroy someone can often be a way to boost your spirits back up to where they need to be, get your confidence back up a little bit so that you can get back in that arena. And I am going to play a training game after this video. So, I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride of the analysis. Okay, so let's look at this game. 1e4, e5, knight f3, attacking the pawn, knight c6, defending it, and bishop to c4. We have an Italian game, and my opponent played bishop to c5. So they also play knight f6 here instead of bishop c5, and I do play knight g5 against that, going into a two knights and sometimes a fried liver attack. But against this move, I do play b4, and as strange as this move looks, we're going to go into an Evans Gambit. My opponent did accept the Gambit, and now the idea of this is to cause the bishop to move more times than it should in the opening. So like the bishop did go here, now he went here to capture, and now c3 is going to kick the bishop away a third time. And c3 helps with the move d4. So that's the idea. Okay, d4. He took. Now, I probably would take back, except I'm pinned. So you have to castle here. This is all theory, by the way. And knight g to e7 was played, also theory. The main move here is d6. And let's just look at how the main line continues very briefly. Okay, we do take here now that we're out of the pin. Bishop b6 is played. The bishop's often vulnerable to tactics on a5. Like queen a4 or queen h5, sometimes come with check and win the bishop. That's the reason for that move. And then d5. Wow. Oh, d5 by white. Wow, that move looks unusual to me. But we're definitely weakening this diagonal by doing this. The knight comes to a5, attacking the bishop. It says bishop b2. Really? Oh, it's a counter threat. If they take, we take here, the rook is trapped. So that's pretty interesting. I think I've looked at this before, like on my channel, but I haven't seen it in an actual game yet. Okay. Well, I think that's enough of that. Always good to learn a couple more moves, so it looks familiar to you if it comes up in a real game. My opponent played knight g to e7. This is the most, or the third most common move, scores the best for black. So let's see if it has a name. Evans Gambit accepted, Pierce, Meisy's defense. Yeah, and I used to play this as black for a short while, but now I play knight f6 instead of bishop c5. The idea behind knight g7 is basically that you're avoiding the e5 push. Like, the knight belongs here. This is where the knight wants to be, but we could play e5, and maybe the knight will get kicked around a bit. Like, the computer says d5 is possible here. Wow, I don't think I've ever looked at this line. We could take. I mean, this reminds me of like a Max Lang attack type thing. Like take, probably rook g8, yes. Rook e1 check. Bishop e6, I think, yes. Yeah, wow, so this is a line that can happen in the Evans Gambit. That's interesting. I end up in lines like this with the black pieces. Okay, so, if black's not prepared for that kind of stuff, they probably shouldn't play knight f6. So often they don't. They play this move, knight g to e7, to avoid, you know, e5 coming with tempo like that. But against this, I think there's a very interesting move, and that's the move knight to g5. So, and it's because there's a nice little, well, this is a very common Evans Gambit threat that can occur. So, I mean, if I was black, and I was at one time, I would say, you're attacking my f-pawn, who cares? I'll just castle. Yeah, and then queen h5 comes, and you're like, am I playing a beginner? Like, I can just play h6. And then they take on f7. And you're like, okay, I am playing a beginner. Why would they take on f7? And you take, and then you realize that you're in a whole lot of trouble all of a sudden. Like bishop check and yeah, I mean, it's hard to know what to do here. If here, f4, and your king is all by himself, and the white pieces are coming in, and this is actually a winning attack for white. So you actually cannot play, you cannot play castles after knight g5 because of this queen h5 move. Very fascinating. So basically this is a fork, is what I'm saying. It attacks here and threatens checkmate, but even more so, it puts a third attacker on the f-pawn, which is only defended twice. So that's the reason that queen h5 is a strong move. Okay, so let's go back. I did play knight g5 in the game. My opponent did not castle. They played the move d5. This is the best move. So I was kind of out of book now. What do? Do I take with a bishop? Do I move my bishop away? Do I take with a pawn? I decided to take with a pawn here for a couple reasons. So this is in the spirit of Evans Gambit. First of all, we just opened up the e-file. That might come in handy. And when you can do a move that comes with tempo, like the pawn attacking the knight, for example, that's usually going to be the right move in an opening like this. Why? Good question. I'm so glad you asked. Because we want to keep black's king in the center. And when we make a move like pawn takes pawn here, attacking the knight, there is no time to castle. Like, black must save their knight. So my opponent took the pawn. That saves the knight, you agree. But that move does allow me to check on e1. So again, he cannot castle because he's in check. So he brought the c knight back to block the attack on his king. Yeah, and this is just such an interesting position. So we're going to kind of analyze from here. If you want to pause your video and figure out what you would play here as white, go ahead and do so now. Okay, so I think black, like if black got a free move here, I think they would castle. So I'm going to play a stupid move. h3 would be very dumb here. Yeah, it says black castles and the position is slightly better for black. So in a position like this, we need to force the initiative and attack, pretty much. So I would be considering moves like, and I was considering moves like knight takes f7, bishop a3, queen e2, moves like that, even queen h5, even queen f3. You can look at all these moves. And it turns out the best move is knight takes f7, which I didn't realize during the game. But it must be, you know what? It's definitely a fried liver attack sort of idea. Like we take, and if he takes, which he should, probably queen f3. Yeah. And this would fork the king and the knight. So that's kind of nice. This knight is still defended, but he's also attacked by the rook. So, actually, let's see how this plays off. It's not as crystal clear. Like, in the fried liver attack, they step up here to defend the knight. This knight actually is defended here. He's defended by the queen and the knight. But he's also pinned. Yeah, this is interesting. So computer says knight f5. Wow, I would never play that move. Like knight f5, I would play g4, right? I mean, what the heck? What the heck is that move? Now it says c6. So, okay, the engine's giving material back. So what is going on here? If he goes, yeah, I'm starting to see the issue. Like, I don't want to go here. I stay in line with the bishop. I don't want to go here because it's illegal. I don't want to go here because I'm in line with the rook. So where does the king go? I definitely don't want to come out here. That looks like suicide. Let's just play this move for example. Okay, computer says bishop a3. Yeah, it's just like a slow little move that applies more pressure. We're pressuring this knight. If the knight moves, he loses this knight. And maybe this will come in handy. X-raying this square. That ties down the queen. If the queen moves away, we'll play queen f8 checkmate. Very interesting stuff. Okay. I think we learned something from that. Let's continue. Rook e1 check. Knight here. And what did I play? So we know knight takes f7 is good. I played bishop to a3. Also a good move. And wow, the eval bar actually went up. So I may have found a better move. I'm not totally sure. So I played this first, and I liked it because I thought he cannot castle here. And he didn't. He played, oh wait, he did. Never mind. I thought he couldn't castle here. He did castle in the game. But yeah, I don't totally understand why not. I played this move, but it's not the best move. So let's see what I should have done here. And this is why I love looking at games like this. So bishop takes e7 is the strongest move. So let's see if we can figure out why. That would attack the knight. This knight would have to take. If we take with the queen, we lose the queen. Okay. So that opens up the bishop on f7. So maybe this is a prelude to queen h5 because we're adding. So this move actually adds an attacker on the f7 square so that when queen h5 comes, we're doing that thing I showed earlier. We're adding a third attacker and threatening mate. So it's making that trick work. All right, let's have a look. Bishop takes. Knight has to take. Yeah, queen h5. Okay, good. I'm glad I figured that out. And I mean, if you don't do h6, then what are you doing, right? It says bishop f5 is a move. Okay, this would be interesting to face because that's another way to defend. We probably just take an f7. Yes, we do. And it says the best move is queen d7, defending the bishop, which in turn blocks this bishop. So, but here I go knight e5 check, it says. Oh, I just won the queen. Okay. So, okay. Okay, I lost my way a little bit. Hang on a second. Okay, bishop a3. Castles. I played queen h5 immediately. I get it. So there's one saving grace for black here, and that is that move. Bishop f5 is now a good resource. Why is that a good resource? I don't know. Let's see, if we take now. Oh. Black can throw in this intermezzo, bishop g6, attacking the queen. Our queen is extricated from the h5 square. We can play this way though. Like take. Or wait, what would it be? I tried to take the bishop and the queen. Yeah, like if they take here, we take here. This is possible. But now we are allowing a new piece into the game. So, yeah. That bishop f5, bishop g6 resource, that's going to be something I watch out for in the future. Okay, let's continue. I think we've learned some interesting things, so I'm going to wrap up this game. So it had my opponent found bishop f5. He would have survived this attack, but he did not. He played h6, and this falls right into the trap. So, wow, did I really do this? I took there first. I did. I recognized that he has to take with the knight, which he did. I mean, here he could also think about this move. No, he can't. I would take the queen. Okay. So now I have knight takes f7. There's just too many attackers on the f7 square. He took with the rook. And now I grabbed the bishop on a5. So remember how I said there's tactics against this bishop earlier? That's what I had in my radar with queen h5 and knight f7 and all that. So, but really, I should have just taken the rook here. Like, this is just crushing. I could go rook takes e7 now. That's a free knight. And I'm still, oh, I was going to say threatening check. Don't blunder. Okay, but there's going to be this check. And we have this, of course. So I think it's over. Yeah, the best move for black is this. I mean, this threat alone wins. So, okay, so let's review this game quickly. I like to do this to solidify ideas. We had an Evans Gambit, main line, and then the move knight g to e7 came on the board, and I played knight g5. Now here they should play d5, which my opponent did. I took this pawn, which gives us tempo, and he took with a knight, which I'm not familiar with, and that's because it's a blunder. So this move loses the game. Very good to know. We have knight takes f7 right away. We could also play rook e1 check, which I did. And after knight there, we still have knight takes f7. But I played the move bishop a3. Good move, putting pressure on the pin piece. And now he castled, and I played correctly. Oh, I didn't play correctly. I should actually take here first. And it's an important move order thing, because after queen h5, there's this bishop f5 resource. That's important because after now, you can insert the move bishop g6. So that is like the main thing I learned from this video, and I hope you did too. So my opponent actually blundered again with the move h6. And in very sharp chess like this, you're going to see multiple blunders even from strong players. Because I think my opponent was like 1500. blitz rating, which is higher than me right now. I hate to say. Okay, bishop takes, and after knight takes, we do have this move, knight takes f7. And there is no good answer to this. I'm threatening the queen. I'm threatening discoveries. Yeah, he did take. Now the rook is pinned. I could actually just take it, which is what I should have did. But I took the bishop, and my opponent did resign here. I do feel he resigned too early. He could fight on. It's a blitz game after all. But I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something, and I'll be back with more. And I'm about to go play a training game, so wish me luck. Okay, bye.